leading woman is someone who forges her own path. Despite the obstacles and differences she's bound to face, she's also willing to take risks and, more importantly, is not afraid to fail. What makes her a leader is the drive and the passion and the courage to do her own thing. And in doing so, I feel she becomes an example and inspiration to many others.
Amarie, Saguil, welcome to Leading Women.
Hi, Angel. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for making time for us. How have you been?
Well, I guess, the pandemic and all, it's been a little crazy. I guess when it first happened, it was kind of a welcome sort of change because it was like a slowdown, it's like, okay, it's sort of like a mini sort of vacation, but then the longer it's taking, it's getting a little, when is this going to end? So we can all just get back to what it is that we do.
Mm-hmm. How's your family and how are the businesses or the artisans that you work with?
Well, the family is good. They're all safe and they're fine. But my artisans in Taal, that was the hardest hit because we also had the volcano eruption. That was sort of a double whammy. It was that first, so that slowed production for a whole, for a long time. So, but then of course they were all busy getting their lives back and, we had to allow them that, which affected also my production. But then after that, then we have the pandemic. But slowly we're getting back there.
It's been a very challenging time for Amarie. Amarie is your brand. Please tell us about this beautiful embroidery honoring the barong that your brand is known for.
Yes, that is exactly it. Actually, it honors the barong. That's how it started out. Like I was always so enamored with the barong Tagalog that we have. Like growing up, like you would see this beautiful embroidery all over, on the barong Tagalogs of men, but you never saw it anywhere else. I mean, of course, during formal occasions you would, but I felt that it should be something that was more everyday that we should see. So that's when Amarie became popular. When we did the barong, but we did it on denim. And then we used, bright colors, fun colors. And that was a little different at the time. So aside from that, it evolved into a resort wear line, really. So meaning it's just for tropical weather. I mean, resort, but I call it also urban resort wear because we live in a city. The beaches are a little bit far for us to get from, but we have this life where it's a tropical country. So we wear, warm weather clothing, basically. So I like to call it urban resort wear or weekend wear or all of that. But it's basically casual, easy clothing, highlighting our embroidery techniques. And that's for warm weather.
Mm-hmm. Each piece is meticulously made because like what you're wearing, the embroidery, the design, it mimics the barong that the men still wear up until now, no?
Right.
You work with stay-at-home moms and artisans. What was that like? I mean, prior to the pandemic, you were able to go to them and give them little instructions and teach them. But now with the restrictions of not being able to travel, how has it been, your relationship with the stay-at-home moms and the artisans for Amarie?
Yes, you're right. Before the pandemic, we would, especially during the early years, I had to go a lot because that was a lot of the trading and understanding what I wanted or my view also of how it should be for my line. But I guess because we've been working for so long already, we had this system where we would just mail things back and forth. We would call, we would do it. I mean, because of the whole, digital age, it's easy. You send a picture, you say, the embroidery is a little too, kulang or a little this. So it wasn't so hard after the pandemic.
Amarie, whether it be online or a pop-up or in the future, maybe your own physical store.
Social media is our only way to reach our clients. It's our only way. I'm hoping we still have these trunk shows, but I'm hoping to really grow more the online business because then we reach also a worldwide audience. I think that's really the future of a lot of the brands. I'm looking towards more on that.
Up next, social entrepreneur Amarie tells us how her brand is evolving during these trying times. Coming up on Leading Women.
a retail industry evolving, social entrepreneur Amarie Saguil continues to promote Filipino craftsmanship while adapting to change.
Help us understand the online presence of Amarie during this time of COVID.
Yeah. Well, I'm so new to that because I just basically started my website, my online store during this time, right? I think I launched in end of July. End of July, I launched. So it's still very new to me, but the thing is, we're not going out. We're not really buying clothing. So I think also I've had to switch my styling, my designing into clothes that are more comfortable, just a lot more sort of work from home, lounge, but yet we still look good when we go out. I guess that's basically how I've had to change things.
And how has that process been for you to change things from how it originally started, to tweak a little bit given the current health crisis?
Because Amarie was always a resort, we're sort of a loungy brand to begin with. I didn't have to do so much. I think what's more important, because it's online, is price points. It's not the same as going to a personal trunk show where you can talk to them and they can really appreciate the clothing, and then they're willing to spend more. But when you're online and you're just looking at a picture, you don't necessarily want to click that add to cart button for something that's a little more pricey. I think what's important is to continue to make a product that's good quality, because now with that whole sort of mindfulness, we don't want to buy fast fashion. We don't want to buy clothes and then just like throw it out the next day. We want to buy clothes that we'll keep, or even, and because sometimes the embroidery is so beautiful and so well made, you can even pass on to your children, really.
With the restrictions easing, more people are given the opportunity not only to add to cart, but to actually go to a pop-up like what you just had or what you will continue to have, and experience and be able to experience again holding the fabric, making sure that it fits, making sure that the color suits them. How do you feel about that?
I am so grateful actually that we've done a couple of these, like Katutubo has done that. Like, they're one of the first few people that really was brave enough to go out there, right? I felt it was okay to do because it was very safe. The show, which used to have, let's say, 70 vendors, was scaled down to 30 vendors. So, we had a lot more space. And also, the venue, we were very safe. There was a lot of you have to wear a mask, you have to wear a face shield. And people that were going, they were going to buy. I mean, if they were going to leave their house, they were serious about it. They were going to look and they were going to buy. And I think if you just take your necessary precautions, this trunk shows could still go on, but on a very limited basis.
Mm-hmm. Communities, your collaboration with the communities that you already have and future communities that you would like to help and bring in to the brand.
Yeah, actually, I have been working on some new techniques, right? So we've been doing natural dyes lately, more the tie-dye look, the tie-dye effect, and also embroidery that's not from Taal. And I've also started training my own group of women. It's more what I call the Abra embroidery. I mean, it's a little easier to learn. I also feel like it doesn't have to be in certain communities. Doing it, as long as you're helping people, as long as you're giving jobs to people, at the end of the day, we're all Filipino here doing the same embroideries.
How do you feel about helping communities? How do you feel about teaching women how to embroider? How do you feel about that?
I really do enjoy it. It becomes like one woman and then her friend comes along because she wants to earn a little bit of extra money. Basically, these women are all so just, eager to learn, and they're happy to be doing it. They're happy to be able to do it at home. So I like it because I guess I'm expanding that skill of embroidery, and they're being able to earn a living.
Mm-hmm. We're talking about Amarie, we're talking about the products, we're talking about the artisans and the love for being Filipino and for honoring and treasuring your heritage, our heritage. What makes you proud to be Filipino, and what makes you proud to be able to share this heritage with the rest of the country and the world, because you ship worldwide.
Yes, yes. It doesn't have to be so historical or so traditional, our clothing. Whatever it is, whether it's the barong or pattern, or even if it's not embroidered, but if it's from a Filipino designer, I think that's a way for us to promote the country, our culture, all of that, to see how talented the people are that we have here in this country.
Oh, thank you very much, Anne-Marie, for sharing your courage with us, your drive, and your passion for all of us to continue to love our heritage, to admire and appreciate the embroidery that goes into each and every Amarie piece. Maraming salamat.
Thank you too, Angel. Maraming salamat.